What's good, YouTube? I'm not going to be my energetic self because we are doing the song Cancer. And I know I'm going to be bawling my eyes out on this one because I've known way too many people extremely close to me who didn't survive cancer. And I'm almost afraid to dive into this one. I've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I don't know if this is going to be a long video, short video. I don't know if I'm going to share my story or not. But bear with me on this one. I'm already like tearing eye because I know this is so close to me.
Everybody knows someone who's sick. 40% will get cancer. Only half's gonna live. Your mom and your dad and your sister stand inside a room, and someone won't survive it. Do you hope it isn't you? I swear that cancer has a cure, but they're refusing to make it. They've done like 40 years of research, 90 billion in donations. We've been running for the cure and wearing ribbons for ages. Why are people still going through radiation? It's crazy. $100 billion industry, they can't afford to end it, and nobody wants to die. Our only option is to spend it. We'd give anything to stick around for just another second. Give a fortune to the doctors who promise they can extend it. The profits are astronomical, the hospitals and...
Yeah, I remember my best friend Christine. So I was in a band called Sugar Tits, and I've put a couple of songs on my playlist under, I think, Amy's Music. You know, I think I threw 3 of them up there. I'm going to add more down the road, but Christine was the vocalist. And I remember she got cancer and she beat it, and then she got it again. She had to get a double mastectomy, which is one of the reasons why we called ourselves Sugar Tits, is because we did a lot of like benefits for like breast cancer awareness. Like we did a show one time where instead of it being Toys for Tots, we did Tits for Tots, and we raised money for children's hospitals and things like that. We did this all the time, and we did a lot of fundraisers. And I remember when she got cancer the second time, and it was bad, but they told her she had like 6 months to live, but she got like 6 years out of that. And we recorded a lot of stuff during that time. But I remember she was doing this alternate treatment. It was like vitamin C. It was so much vitamin C that they would pump into her that it would, I guess it would turn into like peroxide of some sort. I mean, they were doing like 450,000 cc's of like into her body. And it was actually working. Like she was getting like the cancer was shrinking, but it was so expensive that she had to stop doing it. And ultimately, there's nothing she could have done. Like her cancer went everywhere. And I don't like this song. I mean, I understand. I don't not like the song. I don't know.
Going through radiation. It's crazy. $100 billion industry, they can't afford to end it, and nobody wants to die. Our only option is to spend it. We'd give anything to stick around for just another second. Give a fortune to the doctors who promise they can extend it. The profits are astronomical, the hospitals and the clinics are filling coffins with dollars. It's awful, let's just admit it. We're all human, we'll keep fighting because it's how we survive. But it's scary because we don't know where we'll go when we die.
Yeah. So, my friend Christine passed away on like July 6th, right? It's been a couple years. It's been about 5 years. And when she passed away, I couldn't pick up my guitar for 3-4 years. I was done. I couldn't do it because we wrote so many good songs together. And I remember like she told me, hey, because I had planned a trip to New York with my children, and my children really wanted to go, and it was probably about 2 weeks before I went to New York that we were working on one of our songs, and she couldn't breathe. She was losing like her ability to breathe, so she went to we did her practice, and I was like, well, let's just end it. You can't breathe well. Why don't you go rest? And so I started to drive home, and she called me when I was about halfway home. She said, I'm going to the emergency room. So I'm going to go with you. So I turned back around and we went to the emergency room, and they admitted her, and she ended up staying like 3-4 days, and it was like a Friday night. She ended up staying the weekend, and I ended up staying the weekend with her in the hospital. My kids were at their other parents during that time. And so the doctors came in and they said, hey, they're like, what do you want? We've run all your tests. We've looked at your scans, and we're just like, what are your goals, in your life? And I knew what he was saying. I was saying he was trying to tell her that, listen, you've got no more You've got no more time. You're out of time. And but she wasn't understanding it. So she's like, well, I want to see my kids graduate. And this is like, she passed away in July. This is in June, like the beginning of June, right? And she passed away on July 6th. So it's in the middle of June. And so the doctor's saying, oh, the kids are going to graduate now. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's a good goal. You could do that, you know? And they're going through some stuff. And then he's like, oh, great. Okay, awesome. And walked out. And I said, Christine, I need to go talk to the doctor for a second. So I went to the doctor. I said, listen, her kids are like, you know, they're young. When she's talking about graduating, that's 10 or 11 years from now. That's a long ways away. She's not understanding what you're saying. And so he came back in. And he's like, and the team, they said, listen, we're going to tell you that you have less than 30 days to live. Like the cancer is spread all throughout your body. You're not going to make it past 30 days. And I remember, and I know this is long, but sorry. I remember her getting the news, and you know, she's smoking at this time, and obviously she's terminal. She knows it. She doesn't care the cigarettes are going to kill her. She has cancer, right? Because she's terminal. And I remember she taken that news and says, hey, I'm going to go out and smoke a cigarette at the hospitals. And, you know, they connected her IV, whatever it was, to a pole. And she's walking out there. And we walk out there. And she's just been told she has less than a month to live. And I want you guys to process this. You have less than a month to live. And there's a girl out there, and she's sitting in her wheelchair. She's missing both of her legs. It's obvious by the looks of her that she's had a really rough life. You can tell a lot of times when people have a lot of drug use. And so she's there and she's crying, and Christine comes out, and I'm just in shock. Like, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. How's Christine going to handle this news? And I'm so sorry this is so long. And so Christine walks up to her and says, hey, what's wrong? And she's like, you know, I'm in the hospital here, and my family was supposed to come see me, and they didn't show up because I've been on drugs, and I'm in rehab, and I've been going back and forth, and they're no longer here for me. And Christine's like, come out and hang out with me. I'll be here for you. And she follows, and Christine just listened to her and just like was really there for her. And she had just been told she had less than 30 days to live. And I'm just like, I don't even know how you do that. She was such an inspiration to me. Ugh, hate these kind of songs. He had said something here that I want to talk about.
We're all human, we'll keep fighting because it's how we survive. But it's scary because we don't know where we'll go when we die.
That's the other thing I want to talk about. Now, I'm a Christian, and I had just become a pastor of this church because my church is about 5 years old. Now I've been pastoring and doing the work for a long time, but it's the first time at this church. And she died about 5 years ago. So I'd been a pastor at this church about 6 months. And I remember I was talking to Christine for about 3 years because 3 years prior, another friend of mine passed away. And she was 28 years old, and her name, well, this doesn't matter at this point. But she had a heart condition, and she died. And I never shared my faith with her. And I remember feeling so guilty because, you know, our job as Christians isn't to convert people. We get that so wrong. Like, I have to bash my Bible to convert people. That's not our job. Our job is to share the message of hope and let God do the converting. And so when my other friend passed away, I was like, I don't ever want to feel this guilty again. I'm just going to share. So with Christine, she's my best friend. I shared with her for 3 years. We would talk. We would go on these like walks at night after her kids went down. Her husband's there. And we would just go walk around the apartment complex because she has cancer. And we talk about it. She's like, what about this? What about that? And we'd go through the scriptures. And I remember it was about 3 weeks right before I went to New York. She had asked Jesus into her life, and I prayed with her, and then she wanted to get baptized. So we went to her pool, and we couldn't dunk her. She had cancer, right? So we stood her in the pool, and then I took some warm water that we had gotten, and then we just poured it over, and we baptized her. And it was the coolest thing that I got to do with my friend before she passed away. You know, and then when I go to New York, you know, she passes away while I'm in New York, and I can tell you, I mourned, I wept, I bawled my eyes out.
Cause we don't know where we'll go when we die. Don't give up and know you're strong. Show them all your fire. The days are hard, the nights are long. But you are a fighter when it's dire. You burn brighter in the dark.
It's true. I believe that to be true. Like when you're a fighter, when it's dire, you burn brighter in the dark. Our government did some testing. They'll spend like $250 million or $250,000 to test the noise of a candy wrapper. But they did some testing, and I don't know the stats exactly. It's been a minute since I've looked at this, but it was something to the effect like if you were to take all the light away, all the light pollution, and light a candle that you could see that candle from space. And I just think that that's so true. When we go through dark seasons, our light shines brighter. And my friend Christine was a shining light. She was a shining light. So this is very, very true.
But you are a fighter when it's dire. You burn brighter in the dark. You're a survivor.
And I think he's got a real cancer person here, right? Because she's obviously wearing a wig that she's saving, which means that her head's she doesn't have hair.
When you're tired, you hold tighter, you have heart.
Nothing matters if you don't have your health.
I need to kick that back. I was looking at the visuals and not the song. Not the lyrics.
You're strong, show them all your fire. The days are hard, the nights are long. But you are a fighter when it's dire. You burn brighter in the dark. You're a survivor when you're tired. You hold tighter, you have heart.
Nothing matters if you don't have your health.
True.
All the money in the world doesn't help.
Right.
The good might go to heaven and the bad might go to hell. But no one wants to leave here, you can tell.
Well, let me just bring some correction there, Tom. There's no one good. The Bible says there's no one good. Romans chapter 3, you can read that. It's like right around verse 9 or 10. There's none who does good. So there's no good people in heaven. It's all God's goodness that gets us there. It's all His grace, His ability, His love that gets us there. We can't get there on our own goodness. And that gives me hope.
Might go to heaven and the bad might go to hell. But no one wants to leave here, you can tell. And cancer touches everyone, it's in our genetics.
Yeah.
And our world's become so toxic, it's all carcinogenic. We've polluted the water, the air, the food we're ingesting
Yeah.
is full of hormones and poison. Our population's infected.
Yeah.
They sell us cigarettes and liquor, built a business on addictions. We've been paying them to kill ourselves. We're dying to keep living. It's the system, it's a prison. We keep trying to beat it. We get cancer from keeping all of our demons a secret. And
There's another fact. That's just another fact. There's been other stats, other studies that have been taking place in bitterness. When you hold on to bitterness or you're constantly angry, those things actually affect your health. They're actually poison to your body, and you've got to release those kinds of toxins, the emotional toxins from your body as well, because they will hurt you.
on addictions, we've been paying them to kill ourselves. We're dying to keep living. It's the system, it's a prison. We keep trying to beat it. We get cancer from keeping all of our demons a secret. And our insurance don't cover the things we need to defeat it. And even if it does, then we might die from the treatment.
Yep.
Our best defense is living like we do not know what cancer is.
Yep.
Fight it if you have it and pray that there's something after this.
This brings me to another story. And this was a long time ago. I was like, this is probably about 25 years ago or so. And my grandfather also had cancer. And he was your typical American in the sense that he was a self-made person. He had his own business. He was very successful, did very well, didn't need anything from anybody, and didn't need God. He didn't believe in God. He's like, I don't need that Jesus thing. Keep that thing away from me. And I hadn't seen him for a couple years, and then when I found out when we were told that he had cancer, no one was really told until he was like in hospice. And I'm new to my faith. I'm a brand new Christian. I've been a Christian for just a couple years, so I don't know how to talk to people about Jesus and about the afterlife and all those things. But I also want to be sensitive to people. And I remember we got the call to go into hospice to say our goodbyes, and so I drove over there, and there's me, my mom is there, she's a new Christian, my sister is there, and she's kind of spiritual at that moment, but I don't know if she's Christian or not. She probably is, but I don't know personally. And then everybody else in the room they weren't a Christian, and it was set up kind of like this room, but it was like twice the size of this screen right here. And it wasn't blue. It was like white walls or whatever, like tan white walls. And I remember, I was like, God, I want an opportunity to talk, but if I talk about Jesus, I don't want to cause any like fighting. And so I had prayed that, and what had happened is everybody who wasn't a Christian walked to the window. Now, there's probably about 5 or 6 bed lengths between where my grandfather is and the window. So they're all over there just talking because, you know, they're just in the room. We're just there waiting. And I remember it was just me and my mom and my sister, and I went over to my grandfather and was like, Grandfather, listen. And he couldn't talk. I could barely recognize him. The cancer had made him like a skeleton. I'm like, the Bible says all you have to do is call in the name of Jesus. That's all you got to do and you'll be saved. That's all it is. You don't do anything else. And he said, he looked at me and he's like struggling, and he says the words Jesus. And before he says Jesus, and that's all. He dies right at that moment. He doesn't breathe back in. It's Jesus. And then the machine starts to go beep and flatline, and everybody scrambles in there. And I was just like, it was like a spiritual moment for me, because like we were able to walk him into eternity. Like his very last word, his very last breath, he had clung on and asked Jesus and just said Jesus. And I believe that's all it took for him to come to the kingdom. And it was so hopeful. But man, cancer sucks. Cancer sucks.
Is living like we do not know what cancer is. Fight it if you have it and pray that there's something after this.
Don't give up, I know you're strong. Show them all your fire. The days are hard, the nights are long. But you are a fighter when it's dire. You burn brighter in the dark. You're a survivor when you're tired. You hold tighter, you have heart. You won't know how to be brave till you choose to fight when you're afraid.
Truth.
And you can experience strength till you struggle to carry the weight.
I mean, I was teaching that today at church. Like, you know, the courage isn't a lack of fear. Courage is facing your fears.
In strength till you struggle to carry the weight. And you won't know why you have faith till you look the devil in his face. And you don't know what you can take.
Sorry.
Experience strength.
Sorry.
Know how to be
Sorry, I missed all that. I got to kick it back.
brave till you choose to. You won't know how to be brave till you choose to fight when you're afraid.
Truth.
And you can experience strength till you struggle to carry the weight.
Yeah, it's the fighting that makes you stronger.
And you won't know why you have faith till you look the devil in his
Yeah, truth.
face. And you don't know what you can take till you realize you didn't break. Don't give up, I know you're strong. Show them all your fire. The days are hard, the nights are long. But you are a fighter when it's dire. You burn brighter in the dark. You're a survivor when you're tired. You hold tighter, you have heart.
I don't think there's anything on the end of this. Oh. There was a reason why I didn't want to react to this song, because, you know, and it's just, it's difficult to be vulnerable when there's a lot of pain involved. And, you know, it is what it is. There, I've thrown it out there. You guys now have another insight into a little bit about my story, and I can't even talk because I'm so emotional. Yeah, so, you know, what I did to honor Christine is, you know, we wanted to make some videos, we couldn't, and so I just threw some videos together and made some videos. Some of our songs are on there. One's called Witch Hunt, one's called Pain, which she wrote about cancer, but she put it in like a relationship status. And then we did Puppet. Now, we have other songs, but I still have to put videos to them, and I will be releasing those periodically. But I did this to honor her. Like, I'm not looking to make any kind of money off of it at this point. I wanted to honor my friend, and let her legacy carry on a little bit longer, because she was a special person. She was a special person. There will never be another Christine. And it's funny because she's been gone for about 5 years, and I still go to text her every once in a while. Like, it's just I don't know. Anyways, great song, Tom. I don't know if I like you guys giving me these kinds of songs, but I understand why. Man, I've like completely lost my voice because I'm like in my feel. So I'm out of here. God bless you guys. Bye.